Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Pop Punk Podcast with me, T Will Official, and my GS co-host, Daddy Mush. And before we get started, go ahead, say what you were gonna say, my dude.
I'll just say thank you for that rousing introduction once again, but continue.
Absolutely. No, yeah, it's just before we get started, I just want to say we got a couple new things today. First off, we have the new background. Compliments of Mr. Anthony G. Thank you again, sir. You are amazing. You've been an awesome friend, and I appreciate you. And we also have something new that we're debuting at the end of the podcast. We're going to be doing some viewer questions. And I'd like to make this a recurring thing if we keep getting questions coming in. So if you have anything you want to ask about pop punk, about music, about like video games, whatever, ask them. You can ask them on my Twitter. You can ask them in the comments to any of the podcast episodes, and we'll go through them on the podcast and answer them. And yeah, that's about all I think I have to say, like to bring you guys up to speed. So let's hop right on into this. And you know, we start the podcast out every single time asking, what have you been listening to lately, Mr. Daddy Mush?
Well, I kind of changed things up a bit than my usuals too.
Very
So
nice.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I have been listening to a lot of Broadcast of the World by Zebrahead.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, which is quite frankly probably my favorite Zebrahead album.
Oh, it's up there. It's top 3 for me.
And then I kind of just been listening to the usual Saves a Day, The Starting Line, Census Fail, the usual stuff, but I've really been getting deep back into the Zebrahead lore, per se, for better or for worse terms.
Oh, dude, it's funny because Zebrahead, I think Zebrahead is about on par with Blink for me, where it's like, dude, I love their old stuff. Everything up to and including Call Your Friends, I love. But then their new stuff, they fall off kind of hard for me. Like, Walk the Plank has some good songs on it. I really like, Worse Than This is a good song. And I also really like So What, because So What reminds me of something that would be off of Waste of Mind.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, Walk the Plank, they kind of start their like descent into thrash metal. Like you could definitely hear it on some of the songs. Like Wasted Generation is definitely like a metal song. And then I mean the early years, I guess that doesn't really count because it's a whole bunch of re-recordings. But I do like the early years, and I do like the Bonus Brothers album. But again, that doesn't really count because that's just a collection of songs from. It's a collection of Japan-only bonus tracks from Broadcast to the World all the way up to Walk the Plank. And it is pretty good. So, I mean, I guess that doesn't really count. But then their newest album, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this later, but I'm going to say their newest album is like straight up thrash metal, and I'm super not into it because I am not a fan of thrash metal.
Fair enough. How about yourself? What else have you been listening to?
So for the most part, it's pretty much been the same. I'm looking at my repeat playlist, and it's pretty much, it's the Cynical Cover by Future Idiots, Saddest Girl Story by The Starting Line, I Don't Even Like You by Lil Lotus. But
Okay.
there's a new one. There's a new one in there. Love Is War by Medina Lake.
Very nice.
They put out a new song, and I've been listening to it quite a bit. It's pretty good. Have you heard it?
No, I've not listened to it yet because I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. My bad.
It's like pure. It's like post-hardcore with a little with a pop punk sheen to it. I really like it.
Okay, so it's essentially just a nice Molino track.
Yeah, like the riff sounds like something you would hear at like a WWE pay-per-view, but then like when the song actually kicks in, the song gets like good.
Oh, very nice. Why I'm doing.
So it's like a good song if you want to get pumped up for something. It's good, but then it's also like actually a good song. Because a lot of them WWE pay-per-view songs, like I don't know, like I guess they're not for me. They're not for me. It's usually like post grunge, or something like that, and it's not for me.
Or weightlifter metal.
Or yeah, weightlifter metal. But yeah, so it kind of starts out like it's got that kind of like heavy riff, but then it's just pure like post-hardcore and pop punk, and it's amazing. I like it.
That's awesome to hear that. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that's what my music tastes have been up to. I mean, hear ye, the friggin' Thomas Jefferson type beat has been that's been in my playlist a little bit. That song's just funny, dude. Like it's funny because it's like legit. Like that song be kind of bumping, but then it's also like I'm jamming out to Thomas Jefferson type beat. Well, it has a name. The name is called Hear Ye, but I first heard it on YouTube as Thomas Jefferson type beat.
Well, I like how it's called type beat.
I know, because it's making fun of, like, you know, like those videos where it's like, you know, like sad rap type beat, or like, you know, I'm lonely type beat, you know, stupid shit like that. There's actually a whole bunch of like joke stuff like that. Like my favorites obviously are the Thomas Jefferson type beat, and I also really like microwave type beat.
Okay.
Kid getting a shot at the doctors type beat is another one I saw.
Oh, very nice. Sounds like art.
Parents arguing about divorce type beat, which apparently has been sold.
To whom?
I have no idea. I don't know if they just put that in the title to fit with the aesthetic, or if they really sold the beat to somebody. But apparently it's been sold.
Oh, well, you know, as we continue our conversation, I'm gonna have to do some research into that topic as we delve into other subjects.
Oh, dude, those type beat videos are amazing. And yeah, and I wanna talk about something this week because they just released something that has gotten me pretty excited. So, if any of our listeners are unaware, they are remaking the first two Tony Hawk games, and it's coming out in September. It's called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. And not even last week, like this week, like 2 days ago, they just released the soundtrack for it. And it's got me kind of hype. Like there's a lot of it is really like skate punky, and a lot of it's like high energy indie rock, and skate punk's not really for me, and like that high energy indie I really do not like. But there's some good songs on it. There's some really good songs on it. And I know I showed you the playlist.
Yes, and I'm also just looking it up to myself as well.
Yeah, like there's some really like they got All Souls Day by the Ataris on here, which is a song that I really enjoy because I remember the Ataris. They kind of, after So Long Astoria, they kind of put out like this weird, it was like a weird like alternative experimentally type like album back in like 2007.
Yeah.
And then that was like the last thing they did for a while. But then they, in like 2000, well, technically I think the song came out in 2011. But in 2017 they put out like a collection of like music. And that little like compilation was actually like pretty good. And All Souls Day was on it. That's where I heard All Souls Day. And I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty solid. Like if I didn't know any better, I would think All Souls Day was just like a B-side or like a bonus track to So Long Astoria. Like just like on a different version or something.
Yeah, man, yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird how the Ataris just kind of like their only like big album was So Long Astoria, and then they didn't do anything for 4 years. And they put out some weird alternative album. Like you would think that after they hit like mainstream success, they would like pump out another full length like shortly after, but they didn't. They waited over 4 years to put out a album that sounds nothing like it.
Yeah, it's weird, and it also kind of is weird because like their biggest song is a cover.
Yeah.
So like I almost kind of feel bad for them, right? Because like their biggest hit, the one that's like raking in the dough, they gotta share with who, I forget who originally made that song. I think it's like Don somebody.
Don Henley, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Don Henley.
Yeah.
They gotta share their revenue with him. So that's kind of suck. And there's a few bands that are like that. I can't really think of many off the top of my head. But there's a few bands where like their biggest song is a cover, and then it's like good for them. You know, if it works, it works. You know, you gotta give the people what they want. But all I can think of is like, dude, they gotta share their earnings for their biggest song, like the song that's bringing in the cash. They gotta share their earnings with somebody else. And when you're in a band, you already. I think honestly, I think that plays a factor in why a lot of artists these days are just kind of like single people. Because when you're in a band already, you already got to split the revenue like anywhere from 3 to 6 ways. So then you got to share it with somebody else. It's like fuck.
Oh, I know. That's why bands get into legal issues with their band members because they feel like they're not being compensated fairly, you know?
Yeah, and then that ends up with band members leaving. They're not a pop punk band, but I remember reading with like Breaking Benjamin, their like lead singer like wanted all the fucking revenue, and like dude, like all the band members they did not like that, and they like all left. So I remember,
Yeah.
I remember, I'm pretty sure like on the Wikipedia page it was like just him under the official members, and that was like very funny to me.
Well, that's what happens when you get greedy like that, you know?
Yeah, like I forget what the full story was, but I'm pretty sure like I remember reading like he wanted like not obviously not 100% of it, but he wanted like most of it, and because he felt like he was the creative force behind the band. Which first, if you're the creative force behind Breaking Benjamin, I don't know if that's a big bragging right, but
Yeah.
But yeah, he was saying he was like the big creative force behind the band, and he was saying like he wanted all this money, and you know they weren't having it, and they fucking left.
Yeah, I was looking at the band members. First, I think it's Benjamin Burnley, so he probably thinks because the band's named after him, he should get it all. But all
Yeah,
jokes
right.
aside, I noticed that all the other members outside of him all joined in 2014. So that's probably when everybody just said "f this" and just left. You know?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like the entire band like fucking split all
Yeah,
at once.
like apparently, according from like 2011 to 2014, they weren't like together per se. But I guess when they got back together, the only other person who was invited, he was the only original member pre breakup that was still in the band.
Yeah, and like I guess on some level, like it is his band, so he can do what the fuck he wants. But like, yeah, when when you're trying to like take the whole fucking revenue, you know, your bandmates aren't gonna be happy, and they're probably gonna leave.
Yeah, and rightfully so. They gotta eat,
Yeah, no, absolutely,
especially when you
absolutely.
especially when you've been in a band with somebody for over 10 years. You get a little slighted that all of a suddenly it's just that.
Yeah, and especially like you know, I was joking earlier, but like I legit like I'm personally not really into Breaking Benjamin, but they do sell, so like they're making money. So like if I was a part of that band, I would want some of that money. And if
Oh, absolutely.
if this asshole over here is saying like, no, this is all my money, I fucking wrote all the music. What did you do? I'd be like, all right, deuces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
The Ataris, I think, are like that too. Like I know, like Chris Rowe, I don't think he's trying to pull any like legal shit, but like apparently he's just a giant asshole.
I
Like
mean, there is video proof.
yeah, I've seen the video of him throwing the drum set, and if you look on like their Wikipedia page, like there's a fucking revolving door of band members, and usually when it's like that, and there's only like one guy that's been constant throughout the whole years, kind of tells you all you need to know about that one person.
Yeah, like I'm looking at their lineup right now. Chris Rowe is the only stable member. Everybody else, the drummer and the bass guitarist, have only been around since 2016, and they have a whopping 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 former members.
My God, holy shit!
Yes, and no, and only 2 albums had a consistent lineup.
That would be what albums are
That
they?
was a Blue Skies, Broken Hearts, Next 12 Exits, and End Is Forever.
I do like that Blue Skies album. I really like
Yeah,
that song, San Dimas
high
football.
school
Yeah, San Dimas
rules.
high school football rules. Yeah,
Bill
that's
and
the
Ted
name of the song.
reference.
That is a banger. Like
Yes.
as much as I'm calling Chris Rowe an asshole, he does make some good music.
Yeah, but, it's just essentially just his band now with, like,
Yeah,
touring members
yeah,
per se. Save the
yeah,
Date's kinda like that.
yeah. I know. Chris Conley is like the sole. He's like the sole like original member, right? That
Yeah, by
also
far.
probably that could also explain maybe why they're all like all over the place music wise. Cause maybe like the crew from like the Stay What You Are through Being Cool days. Maybe they just like pop punk bangers, and then when they left, the guys he got were probably the more experimental indie variety.
Well, to be fair, they've had their guitarist and their bass player have all been around since 2009, so it has stabilized big time.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I wonder if that played a part because like I don't know when all the members left, but I'm wondering if that played a part in their big like drastic change in sound.
I'm just looking it up. I know the dude Dave, who was like, I guess the second biggest dude, he left in like 2009, and that's when they were making like they're still making like I guess that more alternative experimental music with him on the board. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he probably just played ball, and I'm sure I think Chris Conley does write all the music anyway. So I think they're just kind of playing ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just kind of It's essentially Chris Conley. That Saves the Day is just the brand name.
Yeah, because I'm actually just looking at like who writes this. It's always like beginning. It was just like music written by Saves the Day, but now I think it just says all music written by Chris Conley.
Yeah, I do. I don't know how like these people can do it because there's a lot of bands that are like that. Where if you look, there's like one primary songwriter, and then it's just them with maybe stuff written by the other band members here and there, but like nothing too crazy. I'm just thinking like, yo, like, dude, how? Like every time I'm trying to write music, I'm like, this is fucking hard.
I know the early November's like that. I know Ace Enders, the singer, is pretty much just writes all the music and lyrics, and everybody else is just like, yeah, we've been here since 2001, so we're still in the band.
Yeah, which, by the way, I just want to plug this real quick. If you look at the early November Ave Maria video on YouTube, you might see two people you recognize on there.
Yes, sir.
Talking about us. We were in that music video. That was a really fun day.
Oh, it was a day. That was probably a little less than a year ago.
Yeah, that was like August of last year. And I remember, dude, I was so overdressed, alright? Because, like, you guys know, people watching, you probably know, like, in emo music, it's very common for people to wear, like, the button-down shirts. So, I wore a button-down shirt to the music video. To the music video shoot. I didn't know the music video shoot was going to be set on a football field.
I told you it was a football field.
I didn't know that. You didn't say that until I was already dressed up in the button down, sir, and we were already on our way there.
I said it was going to be at the high school field.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be on the field.
Well, you're business casual, you just
anyway, yeah. So I am like completely overdressed for this music video shirt. Music video shoot. I'm getting so like passionate, my words are getting twisted. So I'm over here wearing a button down to this music video shoot. Keep in mind, this is August, so it was like 90 degrees outside. I'm sweating profusely. But you know what? If you're not suffering for your art, are you even an artist?
Oh, I know. Too bad we sold our souls to Rise Records that day.
Yeah, we had to sign contracts and shit. It was like real official. We are now like a part of the extended Rise Records family.
Talent pool, per se.
Yeah, the talent pool.
Yes, but back to the Tony Hawk soundtrack.
Yeah, we're getting a little off topic, but you know what? I remembered that story. I thought that was a cool story to share, so I shared it.
It was a very cool story.
So yeah, in this music video, before we get back to the Tony Hawk, I just want to say, in this music video, I would like to think, in my mind, my character in that video is the father to one of the football players on the team. And that's why I'm wearing a button down, is because I just got back from like work. I didn't have time to change, so I just went straight to the football field to support my son's big game. It's just a big day. It's game day. Gotta be there. So that's what I would like to think in my head. But it was a fun time. The shoot was very fun. Okay, anyway, yeah, back to the Tony Hawk soundtrack. So yeah, so we got the Ataris, which, like I said, I have some opinions on Chris Rowe, but as a band, I really do like the Ataris' music. So
yeah, they have some good stuff.
That's got to be one of my favorites off the soundtrack. What else do they got? I know they also have... Well, they have May 16th, because May 16th is, that was on the original.
Yeah, Live by Lagwagon, great song.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about that one because like I know the song because of Tony Hawk, but because I knew it through Tony Hawk, I really love it, and it's been a pretty consistent song in all the playlists I've made on Spotify since I first got Spotify. So that's a really good song. It kind of it like teeters the line between like skate punk and pop punk, but it's just poppy enough that I like really enjoy it. Because for those that don't know, like I mean, I like skate punk. I don't mind skate punk if skate punk comes on, like you know, like in Tony Hawk or like when I'm in the car or something. Like I'm not gonna skip it, but I'm also gonna probably not put it on. But there's a few skate punk songs that I really like I do like old Blink 182. I think they have a bit of a skate punk flavor. Um, you know, May 16th by Lagwagon is also a really good song. There's a few Millencolin songs that I really like. MXPX is another one that I really like. But so yeah, in my opinion, May 16th kind of like teeters the line. It's just poppy enough that it sounds like amazing to me.
Yeah, and speaking of Millencolin and MXPX, they're also on the soundtrack too
Yes,
as
they
well.
are. No Cigar from Millencolin, which is kind of funny because the other songs I know by them are not like No Cigar is like a serious song.
It has a very kind of like a darkish kind of opening riff per se. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. It's like very serious. But then like the other songs I know by them are like Material Boy, which is the song about going on a shopping spree.
And the song Fox is about how much he loves his like scooter motorcycle thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's all like goofy songs like that. So it's kind of funny that No Cigar is like their like I guess big hit because like that's the one that was on Tony Hawk. So that's the one that kind of like I guess I would say put them on the map.
For sure.
Yeah. And fucking and then MXPX. Like yeah, no, I just love MXPX. I think they because like, you know when there's type of music you don't really listen to, you know, more often than not you end up having like an exception. And for me, like I said, like with skate punk, I don't usually put skate punk on for my own listening pleasure, but MXPX is kind of like that exception. My Mom Still Cleans My Room is like a pretty consistent mainstay in the playlist that I make, and I will say I'm gonna say real quick on Goldfinger. All right, so Mike Herrera is officially a member of Goldfinger now, and I think he is criminally underutilized. At least his singing talents are, because I mean, as a bass player, I'm guessing he's playing bass on all their music. But as a singer, they underutilize him so much, and it makes me so upset because he has an amazing singing voice.
Yes, he does, but here we are though.
Yeah, but yeah, no. And instead, John Feldman features like the dude from 311, Mark Hoppus, and some other people on the album instead of giving Mike Herrera a part where he sings.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're a songwriter.
The only part he sings on the knife is a whoa part where he's auto tuned to sound like Mark Hoppus.
Ironic, isn't it?
Very ironic.
Yeah,
but you know, just MXPX. Like I really like MXPX. I think I said everything I need to say about MXPX. If you have anything you would like to add.
Oh no, I mean I'm quite a big fan of the song called Let's Ride. It's like I think it was off their most newest album and it has a bit of a kind of a sad, happy feel to it.
Oh, very nice.
It's very good. It's very good. Like if you listen to it, you know the vibe I'm going for. It's kind of like their way of I feel like they're trying to say goodbye in that album. That song because it's their first album in like 6 years and the song is very good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the music video too because they're going to the it's just the plot of the music video is just like this guy's going through like his life and he's going to an MXPX concert, but my favorite part of it on the poster, Alistair and Showoff are the supporting acts for this make believe concert they're attending.
I love it. Did the music video make you cry?
Uh Probably say no because
Oh, don't lie. You fucking cried.
well, it was actually weird because like it was self-released and like the album it was only like it was funded by Kickstarter, you know?
That's his way of
So
saying the music video made him cry.
it's a good song, but also there's also "Bomb Drop" by Less Than Jake, which would have been a banger if it came out in 1998, but it came out in, like, what, 2015 instead, so
2017.
oh, well, even
And
later, so
and yeah, he is directly quoting the lead singer when we went to go see Less Than Jake in 2018, I think.
yeah,
Uh,
before you're strong.
Yo, first of all, their like live persona is fucking hilarious. Like they're not afraid to rip on other bands. Like not really in a
Mhm.
mean way, just like in like a like they're
Some
fucking with
balls.
them type way. They're not afraid. Like I remember they were talking about one of their songs. They were like, "Yeah, this song was supposed to be at the
And
end
season
credits
finale of
of
Seinfeld.
yeah, it's supposed to be the end credits of Seinfeld," and they fucking went and gave it to Green Day, and the whole like crowd started booing. He's like, "No, no, don't boo 'em. Don't boo 'em. We're just bitter as all."
It's just funny because like, that album came out in, like, 2001 and Seinfeld ended in '98, so it wasn't even it makes sense.
Yeah, and I remember that's one of the things he said with the song Bomb Drop, because the song Bomb Drop came out in 2017. It was on their EP.
Sound the alarm.
Yeah, Sound the Alarm. It's like an 8-song EP. And when they played the song live, they were like, if this was off of Hello Rockview, this would have been one of the hits. But we kind of wrote it too late, so now it just kind of gets pushed to the wayside.
And they're not wrong. I mean, the song was great, don't get me wrong, but for the term of mainstream success, definitely is a deeper cut per se.
Oh yeah, no, I just love how they're just not afraid to rip on. I remember he was trying to say he was supposed to be like the next lead singer in Blink-182 after Tom left, and they fucking gave it to that Skiba guy.
Yeah, that was funny as hell.
Oh, dude, that made me laugh so hard. That
Yeah.
that was probably the one that made me laugh the most. He's talking about fucking Matt Skiba.
Oh, I know, because it's just, I don't know, it's just funny.
Yeah, it's very funny. But yeah, no, Bomb Drop is a very good song. It's probably a top 5 song for me from Less Than Jake, if I do say so myself.
And there's also Goldfinger on this soundtrack, Superman, of course. That's one of the
Yeah, well,
classic Tony Hawk songs.
oh well, dude, they would catch all hell if they remastered the game and didn't put Superman on it, because that's like the theme song of Tony Hawk. I remember I kind of had a feeling because a couple years ago, like I want to say it's like 2012, they like did a kind of remaster of 1 and 2, but it wasn't like a big thing like it is now. It was just like a small like $10 like Xbox Live Arcade type game. And like it didn't have the whole soundtrack, but it had a lot of the songs from 1 and 2 on there. And then the songs that they put on there, like the newer ones, it was like all like like that like high energy like indie rock. I wasn't too into the soundtrack for that one, but I kind of had a feeling like the songs that were on that game were gonna be on this remaster too. So like like Superman, When Worlds Collide, May 16th. Those are the ones that I remember.
Millencolin and stuff.
Yeah, Millencolin was on there. Yeah, like pretty much any song that got put on the I think it was called like Pro Skater HD. I had a feeling was going to be on the soundtrack to 1+2. But I will say I definitely think they did a much better job on the new songs this time, because there's quite a bit of pop punk in here that I enjoy. Another one that I really like, I really like, they have MGK's pop punk song Bloody Valentine on there, which I really like. As soon as I saw, because the first thing I saw was kind of like a teaser list for the game where it was like the artists, but it didn't have any song names. And when I saw Machine Gun Kelly's name, I just knew. I just had a feeling it was gonna be Bloody Valentine.
And you were right.
I was right, yeah. Because like, I mean, like I know Tony Hawk, they've always kind of put like some rap on their soundtracks too. But like I don't know, just when I saw his name on there, I just had a feeling it was gonna be Bloody Valentine, and I'm actually really excited for that because it means that song's getting like some cred, which makes me happy. Because as I said back in episode 1, if that song makes waves, which I mean it's too early to tell, but if it makes waves, I think that could be very good for the genre.
I know. It's funny when you brought it up because like I had like a hit with nostalgia, but then I remember that was like less than a month ago.
Yeah. We are only on episode 4, so we've only been doing this for about a month.
And another song I think is the most interesting the probably the most previously mentioned Zebraheads song on
Oh
there.
yeah, all right. So I promised you guys earlier I was gonna talk a little more in depth in this. This is probably where I'm gonna get a little negative. So yeah, they have a song from Zebrahead, and it kind of makes me sad because like Pro Skater 3, which for the record, I love Pro Skater 1 and 2, but I think Pro Skater 3 is very underrated. I think that game needs more love. If this 1 plus 2 does good, I would like to see a remaster of 3. But anyway, Pro Skater 3, like that's the game that turned me on to Zebrahead. That and Dude Where's My Car. I heard Check and Pro Skater 3, and then I heard Playmate of the Year and Dude Where's My Car. And then Zebrahead ever since has been like one of my favorite bands. But like I said, to me, they kind of fell off a little bit on their newer albums. Like I said, Walk the Plank is kind of like okay. Like there's I would say about like a third to half of that album is pretty good, and then the other half is like eh. I wouldn't really say there's anything off of Walk the Plank that's like actually terrible. But off their newest album, Brain Invaders, is kind of like it's just thrash metal, and there's only I think like maybe 2 or 3 songs on there that I like sort of liked, but there's nothing off that album I think that's in my like regular rotation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Like it was fun for a listen and like listen to how like different it is because like that first song, like the opening riff, it just sounds like fucking like Metallica or some shit.
Yeah,
And
which
like
is
it's
funny.
fun for a listen because it's just yeah, it's so different.
It's
But
new, so
yeah, but I don't know. It's the song that they have in the game. All My Friends Are Nobodies. I'll admit it's definitely one of the better songs off that album. But even the good songs off that album to me are kind of like mid tier. Like the song, it kind of sounds like Sum 41 when they were going through their like we want to be metal, but we're still kind of we want to show you guys we still kind of like like punk and pop punk, but it's gonna also be kind of heavy. That's what that song sounds like to me. All My Friends Are Nobodies is the name of the song, and it is one of the better songs off the album, but it's still just kind of eh.
yeah, which is funny that I call this the Dan Palmer era of Zebrahead. That's when they went to the distinct shift in genre.
Yep, absolutely. And they say that that
Greg.
they say that they wrote Call Your Friends after Greg already left and Dan had joined, but I don't know. I don't know if I believe that because like Call Your Friends is just beautiful pop punk music.
Yeah,
And then yeah, Walk the Plank and now Brain Invaders with Dan is just straight up. It's like metal and the lighter songs are like punk, not pop punk. Which,
yeah, 'cause
as I said back in episode 2, yo, if that works for them, cool. But that's definitely like not music that I'm into. You know what I mean?
For well, I mean, I agree too. So I don't. We have pretty similar taste.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'll never be one to be like, yo, fuck this. They should make the music that I like. But you know,
You still have an opinion.
yeah. If if they're making music that I don't like, I'm not gonna be into it. Well, I guess I sort of am a little bit with Blink, but that's a little different. That's just more like, what are you doing, Mark?
Yeah, that's it. Well, my problem is, like I said before, it's just all the songwriters and stuff. But with Zebrahead,
Yeah,
though, it's like
yeah. Well, with Zebrahead, they do write all their own music, and
and it's just like if they want to make that, then that's their right, and
yeah,
it's also our
yeah,
right as
and
fans
yeah, and they are
or
like
not.
they are huge in Japan. So like, if that's what brings the yen coming in, then who am I to be a hater?
Exactly. Yeah. Like just because you dislike something doesn't make you're allowed to have an opinion on something.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, I know. I'm just trying to throw a little disclaimer out there for the audience.
Oh, I know, because I've always feel like you're allowed to have an opinion on something, because like unless they start paying my bills, I'm not gonna have blind loyalty to anybody.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I remember. I remember. I actually used that as an example. I was like, if Zebra had ever cut a death metal album, I wouldn't just blindly love it because they were like my favorite band. And I mean, they didn't cut a death metal album, but they cut a very closely related album.
Yeah, but so there's that, and there's also another other few interesting tracks, I should say, on there. I mean, I never heard it, but I know there was Real Big Fish in there as well.
Yes, she's famous now, which I didn't really know that song going in, but I listened to it after I saw it was on the soundtrack, and it's pretty solid. I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty standard. What do you expect from Real Big Fish? It's ska.
Yeah, it's ska. It's pretty it's inoffensive ska. It's kind of the generic ska that they help generic because they made it like mainstream and crap like that.
Yeah,
And uh and they also have the only Rage Against the Machine song I like on there, which is
yeah,
Gorilla
Gorilla
Radio.
Radio. I was about to say the same thing. For those listening, I'm gonna be straight up. I do not like Rage Against the Machine. 100%. They just make music that I really don't like. Um, but yeah, Gorilla Radio, and I think I like it because it was in Tony Hawk. So like, it just kind of reminds you of like popping in Pro Skater 2X and hearing. Because for those that don't know, that was my exposure to Pro Skater 2 was the Xbox version, which was called
Same.
2X. And it was actually like pretty good. Like it had more shit to it. Like it had like the graphics were better. I think it had more skaters. I remember it had Spider-Man. I want Spider-Man to be in the freaking remaster. I don't know if they're doing it or not, but I'd be into it. But anyway, yeah. So I think I like it because of playing Tony Hawk, but nonetheless, I do like that song. Like you said, it's probably the only Rage Against the Machine song I can honestly say I like. It's not going in my playlist, but like it's not like a turn that song off type song, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. Definitely, I agree the same way.
Yeah. Of course it's got Power Man 5000, which as we were
Fun.
saying a couple weeks ago, yeah, like I like Power Man 5000. I'm gonna say like I guess I sort of like them, and I guess you would say an ironic way because I love how ridiculous they are. But I do legitimately actually really like their music. The song "Show Me What You've Got" was in my top songs playlist one year. You know, like those like year-end Spotify playlists where it's just your 100
For
most
sure.
played songs that year. Yeah, there was Power Man 5000 in one of those years. Because
Very nice.
I enjoy them. They're upbeat and fun. They're
I
angry. They're angry because it's new metal, but it's still upbeat, fast, and fun, which is what I like.
well, my personal favorite is the song that was featured in Shadow the Hedgehog, but that's a different story for a different time.
You and your fucking Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, would you say is your favorite song in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered?
My top three are probably Bomb Drop, All Souls Day, May 16th, and if we're gonna make it a top five, then my number four would probably be Bloody Valentine, with my number five being When Worlds Collide.
Okay. My top 3 per se is I'll say number 1 will probably be No Cigar by Millencolin.
Beautiful song, beautiful song.
Number 2 probably be either be Bomb Drop or Let's Ride by MXPX and Less Than Jake.
Both very good songs. Bomb Drop is my favorite.
And then number 4 will probably May 16th by Lagwagon.
Well, wouldn't that be number three? You went from number two to number four. Oh, well,
Yeah, you're right.
I
Well,
guess you said
yeah, well, no, it's number 4. It's
yeah,
number
it would be
4.
number
I
four
messed
because
up
yeah, number two you were saying it's kind of a tie, so it's one,
between 2 and
two,
3.
2, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Go
I
on.
guess 5 is probably the Ataris, I would say.
Yeah, so I would say we have very similar top fives. Cause the songs that were in your top five that aren't in my top five are probably like very like right underneath. Like they'd be like number 6 and shit. Like Let's Ride would probably be my number 6, and then No Cigar would probably be my number 7.
Yeah, well, I think you probably like way more music off this per se than I do. I'm pretty sticking to the pop punk per se.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. Yeah, no, I'm probably gonna anytime one of these like indie songs come on, I'm gonna probably skip them. And like any of the more like punkier stuff, I'm probably gonna skip them too. But I think there's quite a few bangers in here.
It's definitely a very good collection of songs because in past games, it was really only like 2 to 4 songs that I actually liked, and the rest were kind of I just turned off the rotation.
Yeah, all right. So I can't fairly judge because I've only played the Pro Skater games and Project 8. But I will say, yeah, compared to Pro Skater 5, I was not really a fan of Pro Skater 5 soundtrack because that came out like right when like soft grunge was like at its peak. So there was quite a bit of soft grunge on that soundtrack. The only songs I think I liked off that soundtrack, I might be missing one, but the only two that I can remember is there was a 4 Year Strong song on the soundtrack, Go Down in History, which is a very good song. And then there was a State Champ song on there. It's called Secrets. And I honestly, it's probably like one of my least favorite State Champ songs, but just compared to the rest of the soundtrack, it was good.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at the, Tony Hawk Underground soundtrack, which is probably my 2nd favorite Tony Hawk game in general, but, like, the only song off that soundtrack that I actually like is Armageddon by Alkaline Trio, which is a great song, but the rest is just traditional skate punk stuff that you'll probably hear at the cool kid table at Warped Tour when you're listening to Newfound. They're listening to, Rise Against and No Effects and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I can't really comment on Underground or American Wasteland because after Pro Skater 4, I kind of like just stopped playing them for a little bit. Not really in any bad way, not like an oh fucking Tony Hawk sucks now. Just in more like a you kind of just like drift apart. You play other games, and
It's
then
funny be continue.
no, I was just gonna say. Then I played Project 8 because I remember seeing that Jason Lee was a was an unlockable skater, as well as Travis Barker.
Oh, yeah, and Project 8 because they did have a, Project 8 did have a plus 44 on there.
Yeah, they did. Which weirdly enough, I actually don't think a Tony Hawk game has ever had Blink on its soundtrack.
Ah, they're
Which
too popular.
I was gonna say I could kind of understand why. I'm sure the licensing would be a nightmare for that. Like like plus 44 definitely makes more sense too from like just a aesthetic sound point.
Well, yeah, because that game did drop in '06. That was the peak of the genius.
Yeah,
But, the American Wasteland soundtrack should there's a lot of, like, good to great bands on there, but the problem with that soundtrack is that they're all covers of, like, old punk songs, so it kinda takes away from the lore of it because here are the bands that are featured on the American Wasteland soundtrack, and they're mostly great, but they're covering songs I don't really like, so it kinda kills the purpose. There's Census Fail, Taking Back Sunday, Saves the Day, Fall Out Boy, Alkaline Trio, uh, Thursday, uh, and then there's a couple other bands that are decent, like My Chemical Romance is also on there as well and stuff like that, but
yeah,
they're all doing covers, so it kinda takes away the coolness of it per se.
yeah. My Chemical Romance is they're something because they're kind of like I remember you called them once. They're the Green Day of mall emo music, and that kind of actually fits. But I will say,
Oh,
just like with Green Day, some of their older shit I do actually really enjoy. Like I do like a few songs off their first album. It's like I brought you my bullets or some shit like that.
yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, and some of the songs off their second album are pretty good too. Like I do enjoy the song Helena. I enjoy another song off their first album called Head First for Halos.
That's
Those
a
are
good
some
song.
those are some good songs. Well, Head First to Halos is just like pure pop punk, and I love it.
Yeah, it's a good
Um,
song.
but yeah, no, like the Black Parade, na na na, like no, I can't. That shit's whack.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sold, so good
Oh
for them.
yeah, yeah. Again, like I said, just because I don't like it, clearly they did something right because they are the Green Day of mall emo. Literally,
Everybody love them.
literally, yeah. Like every girl that was like 12 years old in between 2004 and 2006 fucking loves My Chemical Romance.
For better or for worse, but good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
But I'd rather have young kids listen to MCR than mumble rap or SoundCloud rap, you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. I disagree. I think there's some good shit in SoundCloud because that's kind of like where emo rap kind of came from.
Well, I
Was
know
like
that,
out of
but
out of SoundCloud rap.
I mean, for like mainstreamness, I mean, if people listen to MCR, that means they'll be more inclined to listen to just mall emo and post hardcore in general.
Well, and that's why, like I kind of said, like
It's
with
different
emo,
crowds. They're different crowds.
with emo rap, I think emo rap is kind of like. I mean, I know it's obviously not like actual pop punk or actual post hardcore, but it's kind of like the next step, so to speak. Like there is a lot of that like influence in emo rap.
Oh
Like
yeah, you
that,
heard it in that Juice World song.
yeah. That there's a Juice World song that's just like literal pop punk. It's called Man of the Year. It's actually very good. I really like that song. And that Lil Lotus dude is honestly, he's just like singing pop punk songs just on like a hip hop beat.
Yeah.
I think there's some real good shit in there. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, so there's that and a so yeah, so but the Tony Hawk, are you excited for the actual game? The Tony
Oh,
Hawk
I
Master?
absolutely, dude. I used to love that shit back in the day.
Don't you have it pre-ordered?
I do have it pre-ordered, yeah.
Well then, I don't know, I'm even asking that then.
Yeah, no, I am excited. Like I said, I grew up on Pro Skater 3 mostly.
Same.
As I said earlier, and I will say it again, I think Pro Skater 3 is vastly, vastly underrated.
Oh, it is for sure because they never remake it.
I know, that was my favorite. Like, dude, I used to love shredding up the friggin' cruise ship with Darth Maul. That was like my favorite.
Yeah, there was Darth Maul and who else was in that game? Like of the guest characters.
I don't remember. I know there was Darth Maul, and I think there was Wolverine.
Yeah, that's it. Wolverine. I want to say it was.
And that game turned me on to some music too. Like I said, it turned me on to Zebrahead. I don't really listen to him anymore, but when I was younger, I did really like the Ramones, and that was cause like Blitzkrieg Bop was in Tony Hawk.
Yeah, and then
Um,
I mean, the song's a bit more skate punky, but I do know that AFI's "The Boy Who Destroyed the World" was in that. I really like that song back in the day. "Body Jar's Not the Same" was also good.
yeah, there's a bunch of good music in there.
I mean,
Uh,
not pop punk, but Motorhead, Ace of Spades.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like Motorhead. I don't really listen to Motorhead on a day to day basis, but I do. I would overall say that I do enjoy their music.
Yeah, and
And yeah, Ace of Spades was the first time I heard them in Tony Hawk.
most importantly, Exhibit is in that game too.
Yo, dog, I heard you like skateboards, so we put a skateboard in your skateboard so you can skateboard while you skateboard.
I used to love those memes, just like, oh yo, I'm not gonna say because it's a little too dark for this, but yeah, but so that's the Tony Hawk soundtracks. I guess we're talking about, right?
Yeah, and yeah, so that was pretty much the rundown of the 1+2 soundtrack. There's there's a lot of good shit in here. There's a lot.
So I'm excited for it.
There's some other stuff in here that I'm not gonna be too crazy about, but hopefully there's a skip feature because if there is, then I could just skip them to get to the good songs.
Yeah, or worst case scenario, you can always just have Spotify up on the background.
That's true. That's true. That's kind of like what I was saying a couple
A
weeks
few weeks
ago.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah, with like Spotify kind of has like overtaken like the video game soundtrack. I think because yeah, like once I get my fill, even as good as I think the soundtrack is, like once I get my fill of it, I'll probably just like turn the game music off and then put on Spotify and just listen to my playlist.
yeah, because Tony Hawk's not really
Wow.
a game that you need to have pinpoint focus. You know what I mean? It's just button mashing, and it's great.
Well, not even that. Just listen to my music instead of the soundtrack music.
Well, I know, I agree. I'm saying, but you can do that though, because the games aren't really that thought provoking.
And I'm sure there's also songs in here that like I don't know that I might end up liking because of the game, because that does happen to me a lot too. Where like I didn't know a song and then I heard it through the game and then I ended up really liking the song. Um, I remember there was a few games like I know Madden did that with me a few times. Like the Senses Fail song that was in like Madden '09.
Really, they
And
were in Madden.
yeah, Wolves at the Door, Madden '09.
Very nice. That's the worst one actually, according to a certain man I know.
Fuck out of here. '09 was my favorite.
Oh wait, was the best.
The fuck out of here. And then like I think NHL '09 had like Coheed and
Yep.
And on the heavier side, it also had Bullet for My Valentine, who I'm not really into them anymore, but I did really like them a lot when I played NHL '09, so I thought that was cool.
NHL 08 had like a pretty good soundtrack. It was just kind of like a lot of post-hardcore and stuff like that. Like had the bass side, Enter Shikari and
You know what?
Chamberlain and stuff like that.
I actually don't know if I played NHL '08 because I think my first NHL was '09. I mean, I think I had one of them for like the PS, maybe even the PS1. I don't know, but I had like one of the really old like NHL, like NHL 2000, and then but like it was really more my dad's game, and just like he kind of like let me play it because when you're like 5, you always want to like play everything. So the first like real NHL game I think I played was '09, like that I really like actually put time into was NHL '09.
Yeah, NHL 09 was pretty good. I actually ended up I broke that copy of my game on that one because I got so mad I kicked my Xbox 360 and the disc got all scratched up in it.
Damn. Yeah, I feel that though, cause sometimes when I'm playing Madden, I get so fucking mad when like they miss a catch that should have been easy, or if God forbid the other team fucking picks it off, I'll freak the fuck out.
Yeah, but Tony Hawk, they do it. The music's generally, I mean, the music's all over the place, but there's a lot of skate punk on it. That's where they make their bread and butter, at least with the early games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
Skate punk and punk rock and just other just random music.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And in the newest one, it looks like they got a little bit of pop punk in there too, which makes me happy.
Well, yeah, it's great because at least it shows that even if half of it's for nostalgia's sake, they still brought in some newer pop punk songs that weren't in the previous game. So it shows that there is still a market for that pop punk genre in a Tony Hawk game.
Yeah, like I said, I think the fact that MGK's pop punk song is in there is a good thing because it's showing, it's showing that like it's making some type of wave because like they don't generally put like unknown music in video game soundtracks, so it's clearly making some type of wave, which makes me happy.
Yeah, because that shows that there's still a market for the genre, which is all I really want, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I guess that was our rundown of the Pro Skater 1 plus 2 soundtrack. Um,
Yes.
Now before we dip, like I said, I'm introducing a new segment today. Viewer questions. So last week I made a tweet after last week's episode, where I was asking like, hey, if you guys have any questions you want us to answer, respond to the tweet, respond in the comments, any of our videos, whatever. And we had a few people. We had a few people that commented. So the first comment I'll read off. C Jude 26 says, "Why you stinky?" I don't know, Ed. Why are you stinky?
Because I work in a bus garage and I sweat a lot and there's no air condition, so I get a little ripe, for lack of a better term. How about yourself? Why are you stinky?
I would actually like to say that I smell very nice. Thank you very much,
That's
Cheyenne.
that's subjectively
I,
speaking.
I smell like roses. Maybe you're stinky.
Hey, I'm a working class man.
And then, Mr. Unsaying Smile said, "How long did it take for you to realize the hidden innuendo in the title of the Blink-182 album, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket?" And
Uh, you go first.
I want to say for me, I don't remember if I caught it right away because I got the album when I was like 12. I don't know if I caught it right away. I say it maybe actually did take me a little bit. I don't know how long, by like a year or two. But I definitely didn't catch it right away. Just because I listened to the album when I was like young.
Yeah, I got the album when I was like 10 or 11, and when I was in 5th, 6th grade, I was friends with the cool 7th and 8th graders. So they told me the rundown as soon as I bought the album, so I knew pretty close after I got the album. Funny because MGK just found out like recently that he's been listening to the album for like 20 years and he finally realized what it meant.
Yeah, I know. I remember he was telling me about it, and he was saying like that's what made him ask, is because he just watched the MGK podcast where MGK just recently figured it out.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know. I love it because I know him and Travis Barker are just like boys now, which is kind of dope because
Yeah.
Travis Barker is big in both the pop punk and hip hop scenes. So
Just mainstream media.
So I would say Travis Barker was definitely probably like a key factor in MGK's pop punk song and probably his whole album. Because I do remember reading on Wikipedia that it was going to be a full fledged like pop punk album. That he's just trying to like bring that sound back.
That's fantastic.
I know. That's why, like I said, I hope that it makes waves. It's not out yet, but it said it's supposed to drop in 2020. So whenever you're ready, MGK. Whenever you're ready, I'll be waiting because I'm sure it's gonna be banging. Because the Bloody Valentine song's already pretty good.
And we got one more question, correct?
Yes, we do. All right, so Laura and then a bunch of numbers asks, what genre would the Killers be considered, and what do you think of them? All right, so I'm a little opinionated on the Killers. First of all, I would call them probably like alternative rock, and I don't like alternative rock, so I don't really like the Killers.
Yeah, I'll definitely say they're alternative, and some of their songs I enjoy just for the sake of like memes and seeing a bunch of like college guys go crazy when Mr. Brightside comes on at like bars. But other
Oh,
than
dude,
that,
it's wild. Yeah, no. Anybody that's in their 30s goes fucking crazy when Mr. Brightside comes on. It's weird because, like, Mr. Brightside, it like, gets lumped in with the fucking, like, top 40 emo. Well, to me, that's, like, so far from emo. They're like,
I know.
alternative.
Yeah, it's just alternative rock at this point. But there are people in the emo scene that truly love the Killers, which is quite surprising.
Yeah, because, like, it'll be, like, you know, when I see those videos, like, if you remember these, you had an emo childhood, and it'll be, like, you know, like, I'm not okay, fucking, I write sins, not tragedies, yeah, welcome to my life, and then it'll be, like, Mr. Brightside in there, too, and I'm like, what? I guess.
Let's go for it.
I do like the memes, though. I love the Mr. Brightside with Google autocorrect video.
Never actually, I can't say I saw that one.
Oh, that one's funny. It's like, all right, so he's singing the lyrics to Mr. Brightside, but after a certain point in like the line of lyrics, he has Google autocorrect fill in the rest of it. So it's funny as shit. So it's like the one I remember is like, you know, parts like Destiny 2 is temporarily at capacity. That's something that I remember from the video, and I thought it was hilarious. It's like the Turning Saints to the Sea line or whatever turns into like Turning Point USA, Turning Point USA. It's just a whole bunch of like it's all funny shit like that. Wait, no, the actual band, there is one song by them that I somewhat enjoy. It's called When You Were Young. It was in Rock Band, so I like it pretty much because it was in Rock Band, so it's kind of like, you know, like nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And, that song's alright. Overall, though, yeah, I'm not really crazy about the Killers. I definitely use the Killers a lot to compare to Justin from Zebraheads. Like, you know, like his stuff. I Hate Kate. Justin sings the hits. Justin Mariello's solo album.
Oh, that was a glorious train wreck. I guess that's for a different topic for a different day.
That is a different topic for a different day. But yeah, I definitely use the Killers a lot to compare those sounds. Yeah, funny enough, I think they do sound a little bit alike too. I would say the dude from the Killers, whose name I don't know, and Justin, they sound a little bit alike.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, they even said in like a Zebrahead in their like departure of like I think Justin quit. They're pretty much just said like Justin just wants to be the Killers at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. He's like, some of us may or may not essentially want to turn into the Killers, and then other people in the band did not want that.
Something on those lines, but the Killers was definitely name dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, nah. I'm just not into it. I'm not into it.
But if that's
Not.
your stuff, good for you.
Yeah, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But yeah, I would just like to just say that's not my stuff. And yeah, I think that actually wraps up the viewer questions. So if there's anything else you'd like to say to close out the episode,
And if you have any other questions for future episodes, just make sure you tweet Mr. T Will or comment on a YouTube video or do anything, and we'll get to those questions, no doubt about it. So
yep,
ask away, anything.
yep. But I just wanna disclaim because there's always gonna be that one asshole like, oh. Only if you're gonna comment on a YouTube video with a question, make sure you do it on one of the podcast episodes. Please don't do it on any of my vlog or like gaming videos, cause I'm gonna not read them. Make sure if you want a question to be answered, make sure to comment it in a podcast episode video. But other than that, yeah, feel free to comment this episode. It could be any episode. 1, 2, 3, 4. A future episode, whatever. I mean, the future episodes aren't uploaded yet. I'm just saying, like, in the future, when there is more episodes. Comment on any of the podcast episodes you want, and yeah, we'll answer them on the podcast. And
So,
yeah, I think that about sums up today.
thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you to all the people who tuned in live on Twitch. Thank you to anybody who will be watching this on YouTube. And we will catch you guys next week, same time, Thursday at 3:30 on Twitch. And then Tuesday at noon on YouTube.
See everybody.
Peace.